Just a little bit about me as we kind of get into this. My online persona is the subscription doc. If you saw this little fun rendering when we were coming up with this, the very first version of this was a bald guy with a beard, and I looked about 80. I'm only 45, but I've been doing subscriptions for about 6 or 7 years now. I actually got into the game. I'm the marketing co-founder of Autoship Cloud, which is one of the sponsors here today. You're going to hear from my business partner, David Bradley, in a little bit about AI. But that's actually how I started. I was working at eHub. I went the entrepreneur route, joined David in marketing. And as we were working with our customers on our platform, realized that, hey, subscriptions are really hard. Most brands are struggling to figure out the strategy. It's just a little bit different, a little bit weird. And we launched Subscription Prescription first as a newsletter, just kind of like as a marketing thing to get more customers, and quickly got this feedback that people really wanted to know more about subscriptions. And yes, it's great that you have a platform that I could use, but I'd really love to just pick your brain on what's working. And that was the genesis of Subscription Prescription, which is now a full-fledged agency. We do both strategic work and tactical work in the weeds. We've got a newsletter, podcast. This presentation has a bunch of free resources in it. I've got templates and all kinds of things with QR codes. And at the very end, there's a QR code to get the presentation in case you want to grab all this stuff. But you're free to take pictures of any slides or anything. So one of the biggest things that I do when I'm talking about subscriptions is, because there's so many other things you're working on in your business, it's one of those things you really can't afford to make it perfect, right? You have to worry about growth. You have to worry about ads. You have to worry about influencers. You have to worry about sourcing. There are so many other pieces to running a brand that subscriptions can feel really, really overwhelming. So what we're going to do is I'm going to walk you through a lot of where the opportunity is here. So subscriptions can feel really, really tricky. Kind of going through a little bit of this. We often run into issues with growth and retention feeling siloed. They're not communicating with each other. But also, do you want to optimize for first purchase profitability? Should you be optimizing for retention? How do we kind of frame subscriptions in a way that they're more compelling, that people are going to buy them and stick around longer? It's hard to do. That's what we're going to talk about today. So the way I like to think about this is we're going to walk through the most impactful things you should be worrying about on your subscription program. And the first thing that we're going to be talking about is acquisition. And a really fun question I like to ask when I'm online or trying to bother email retention agencies is to ask them, which is more important, acquisition or retention in subscriptions? And it's a bit of a trick question, because when you do acquisition the right way, it actually solves a lot of your retention issues. So I want to go through a little bit of an experiment here to kind of show you the reason why I think acquisition is so important. So what we've got here on this slide is essentially like a month-over-month cohort of subscribers. So assume that you had 100 people buy on your site in month one, or that buy subscriptions on month one. Say you've got pretty good retention. This number on the side here is like 85% month one. Who's doing as well as that? Who would love to be at 85% first month renewal? Anybody? Okay. All right. So 85%. So by the time you get to month 4, you're about 55 subscribers left. And this is pretty decent. Again, this is month over month. You're keeping between 80 to 85, 88% of your subscribers. And just for the sake of the math, I'm saying, hey, we got a 35% conversion opt-in rate. So we had 280 people buy from us. 100 of them were subscribers. That's how this comes in. Now, when people come to me, they're thinking, hey, how do I get these numbers up so I can keep more people? And I'm going to say, we're not going to start on the retention piece. We're going to start on the opt-in piece, because this is what can happen. Let's say in theory, I work my ass off and we get our month-over-month retention into the low 90s, which I don't know if any of you have ever tried to do this. It is an incredibly long process and testing and trying to figure out what subscribers want. You're giving away stuff. It can feel very, very confusing. And you often have to wait months at a time to get feedback. You could get 17 more subscribers than that 55 if you do this way. But here's the trick. If I just take that 35% opt-in rate from right here and I get it to a 45% opt-in rate, if I bump my CVR up 0.5%, I can get that same 17 subscribers by month 4. And so the reason I point this out is because the amount of work it takes to test and iterate through all of the pieces of the retention month over month over month, like I said, is incredibly murky and difficult. Whereas testing up front on ads, I can see right away if a test I put into place is driving up conversion rate. I can get immediate feedback. To go a little bit deeper, there's a lot of ways when we look at brands that they're actually just not prioritizing subscriptions in an effective way. It's often very, very simple from a design standpoint of how we can optimize to make these things look a little bit better. So the first thing is you need to be putting your subscription option first. If you're not trying to be a subscription first brand, you are setting yourself up to leaving an incredible amount of money on the table. Most subscription customers are worth at least 2 times, if not 300% or more valuable from a lifetime value standpoint than a one-time customer. So why would you not optimize for that experience? Okay, and we can talk about that, why you wouldn't. You want to showcase the value, but also set expectations up front. Now, these are really small examples. This is Grüns and Respire. These are, I put them up here a lot bigger so you can see these. And I want to walk you through, these are some of my favorite product pages. So right here, we've got an electric flosser kit from a company called Go Floss. It's fancy. Here's the websites at the bottom. But they do a really good job of showing you very clearly, this is subscribe and save. They show a price strike through. Here's what you're getting every single month, okay? The one-time purchase is there, but it's also really clear to see how much more expensive it is. Now, this is really tricky because this is a device. You're buying a flosser kit, and the flossers are their subscriptions. So they have to be really explicit about what you're getting and what's coming. But this converts really well. I know the brand, the agency behind this is one of the best and biggest in the world. This product page has been updated only once or twice in like 3 years because that's how effective it is, okay? This one is Respire. This is a client of ours. They do an incredible job of showcasing value. And this is a trend that we're seeing be really, really effective in the subscription space right now, which is bulk options. So as you can see on this page here, they're highlighting the 3-month supply. These are sleep strips to help you sleep better at night, okay? They've got price strike throughs. It's free shipping with a container. You can see it's 40% off as opposed to that 1-month subscription is 10% off. They're also testing here this save more with automatic refills, kind of like an opt-out. There isn't a one-time purchase option. You have to deselect that box. Now, this is a little bit more gray area of how we're trying to get people to take it. It's pretty effective for them. But when we get people on this 3-month and 6-month supply, we're actually locking in retention. And this is where the beauty of doing subscription acquisition this way, it actually solves your hardest problem, which is that first month renewal. If I can get out of my subscription customers, if I can start to get 10 or 15% of them to buy a 2 or 3 month subscription right away, that boosts my entire cohort in renewal rates, okay? So it's a massive impact on retention, on LTV. This final one is another client of ours that this just launched last week. This is a THC CBD site called IndaCloud. And again, very kind of fun, a lot more colors, but you can see really clearly, you're picking your flavor. They have some of these pack options. And then look at that subscribe and save box. It's so much more just kind of, it's not too much in your face, but it's very clear that this is something special right here. It's worth taking a look at. And then the fun part here is we're testing something with subscription rewards, where if you click this right here, it kind of scrolls open. It's really fun. Okay. So when we're thinking about this acquisition problem, we want to be thinking about the reason why just discounting isn't very effective is that discount seekers never stay, okay? They do not commit. The instant something like your product is available cheaper somewhere else, or they just run out, or they wanted to try it, they just bought it because you're doing a really great discount, they're gone. So free gift or gift with purchase is another great way to do that. Okay. And when we're looking at ways we want to incentivize people that are interested in more value, right? So if we're looking at like this bulk options right here, or looking at a gift with purchase, anything we can do to stack value on the subscription is going to make that option more compelling. And there's a lot of different ways to do that. But yeah, more subscribers are not always better subscribers. I would say that in general, you should be running discounts to acquire subscribers because it can still be effective. You still run those specials. But you also want to test gift with purchase, and anything on your site. If you have multiple products, test bundles. right? If you have something that just very naturally, like you're selling a mixable supplement, then you're giving away like those little electric mixers in a mug or something like that. Even something as simple as that can be really, really powerful. Okay, now acquisition is critical, but the funny part is we often think when we're as brands, we're thinking that the subscription renewal is that next big cliff. Okay, they've bought it, they're gonna use it, and then we're gonna find out when they cancel. The mistake here is that if you're not, the thing you should be obsessed with out of all the stuff we're covering is you should be obsessed with testing offers that we just covered, and you should be obsessed with your onboarding experience for your product. Who here sells a supplement? Okay. I bought a sleep supplement about a year ago, just testing. I have issues with sleep, and it's this hot cocoa mix. It's really nice. I get it. I'm going to use it the first night. I'm really excited to try this, and I'm wondering what time I should take it. And is this going to like knock me out? Should I take it 30 minutes before, an hour, 2 hours as part of like a wind down routine? There was no information on the bottle. No information on the package. I literally had to DM like the founder on Twitter to say, hey man, when do I take this? And I cannot tell you how many times big brands doing 50 million, 100 million in revenue have this exact same myopic view that the product and experience are this close, they don't see it anymore. If you're not obsessed with understanding how your customers are using your product up front, you're missing out. We just had Space Goods on our podcast, a Zamo customer, and they talked about it's a nootropic mushroom coffee. They were surveying people to find out all the ways that they were making the coffee, whether it was cold or hot, with milk, with other additives. And then they took those people's responses and then looked at the LTV of those responses. This is very in the weeds. And they found that people that made it with like warm milk had the best experience and stuck around the longest. So guess what's now in their onboarding email? Guess what's part of the product insert when you buy it? Is the way to make your best first cup of mushroom coffee. And so that's what you'd be thinking about when we get into emails. Emails is a big part of this. This is another big mistake that I see is that brands are you have the purchase confirmation and then you wait 3 or 4 days to maybe send an email, and then you wait 7 days to send an email, and then you wait 7 days to send an email. But this first window right here, when people are first purchased, that is hot opportunity. And what I've got over here is I've got a QR code. Again, I have the QR code for the slides at the end, but I have a template with like 7 or 8 different onboarding templates, founder stories, the value, what makes our product different, all those types of things. But basically, we want to set expectations. We want to build anticipation. Tell them what they're getting, what's going to happen, how's this going to change their life. We have founder story or education. Brands I talk with all the time, how many people your top cancellation reason is too expensive? Okay. How about too much product? Okay. Those are the top 2 in subscriptions, almost universally. And if somebody thinks your product's too expensive, you've missed out on an opportunity to explain to them why your product costs what it does. If somebody has too much product, it's because you didn't get them excited, you didn't get them using the product right away, or you just sold way too much, which is a different problem. All right. And then once it arrives, I love the order delivery confirmation trigger you get from Shopify. Trigger another email, trigger an SMS, get them those instructions. Don't worry about repeating yourself because people might be opening these. They are not reading these emails as much as you think. And if there's something important or critical to your product experience, you've got to get it in there. Okay, so this is the biggest piece of 90-day retention, right? And when we're thinking about driving LTV, we're thinking about keeping subscribers on and happy. It's those first couple weeks, those first experiences. If you can get somebody using their product, making it part of their routine, a lot of the other things kind of sort themselves out. Because if somebody's using your product, they're a little less annoyed by how they log into your portal, or they're a little less annoyed by how tricky it was to adjust their frequency, or they had to email your CS team to swap a product for them. Those customers are a lot less worried about that as opposed to all the people that are on the fringe or that aren't really using it or aren't really sure. As soon as there's a friction point, they're gone, okay? So that's why we're worrying about this. Getting them in the door, getting them using the product. Then we're talking about communications. One of the ways we've set up the format of this event today is we have a lot of different partners that are going to be sharing their experiences. We're going to have Zamo up here talking about email. We're going to have Live Recover talking about SMS. We're going to have Bestie talking about acquisition, and Autoship Cloud is going to be talking about AI and discoverability. But with comms, this is a really fun example. So most brands are either sending nothing, which is becoming more illegal every day and is a liability, or they're sending something generic. You're using the default subscription email, right? It's not branded. There's no skip or pause or delay option for just easy convenience. There's no value reminder. This is the biggest one. I love this example right here. This is one of our customers, Mars Men. They sell men's testosterone, and their whole brand is about you're going to Mars. Women are from Venus, men are from Mars. It's a very fun play, but it's also you're putting on your spacesuit and you're going on a mission, right? We're going to be tough guys, right? But look how fun this is. Unleash what's already yours. You're in your activation phase. They do a different billing reminder of the first couple of months to try to get you excited. And then, hey, here's what you might be noticing. You might be a little bit stronger, a little bit faster recovery. They're setting the stage for how the product's supposed to be working. And then, oh, by the way, here's a Zamo widget upgrade to go from your monthly subscription to a 90-day subscription. And that's what's so frustrating when I talk to brands that don't want to send a billing reminder. You don't want to do an upsell in your billing reminder email? You don't want to lock somebody in from a month-to-month subscription customer to a 90-day, 3-month subscription customer? So it's possible to get these so that you're not causing churn for yourself, not in a way that's overly difficult. And so when we're talking about subscription email strategy, we really want to think about more intentionality around how we are talking to subscribers. If subscriptions are the big piece of your customer base, treat them as like a really active segment. You're creating special emails for them, special campaigns for them. You should be thinking about what's going to work for them, and you should be testing those emails as well. Educate, don't just sell, especially that first month. If you have multiple products, what we like as an approach is you have your hero product, and we want to make sure that first month is all about that product. All the emails are driving home education, adoption, all those things. And then once that first renewal hits, now I can introduce you into my other products. Hey, you bought protein powder, we have creatine. Hey, you've been using creatine, we've got some glutamine and some electrolytes or some pre-workout that you should be getting. But that first month is always about what they've bought and making sure they're using that. Okay, this is an ebook. This has a bunch of subscription email examples in it. We call it our subscription email best practices, from billing reminders, onboarding. It's got a ton of visuals on here. I'll let you guys scan that real quick. Again, I've got more QR codes coming, don't worry. Okay. Tanner, you have this book. No, I'm just kidding. No, you don't. I'll send it to you if you don't have it. Okay, cancellation. So we've talked about you get them to buy the product, you get them to use the product, you've communicated with them about the product, but they're potentially going into cancel. Okay? This is the next biggest point. Here's some example cancellation reasons, but here's the thing that we're seeing be the killer in the space right now, and this is a founder video. So imagine you click to cancel and you see a pop-up. Has anybody seen this where you see like a video from the founder talking to you? Okay. So the brands that we work with, say they're at a 5% cancellation save rate, right? They haven't really done anything. And they don't do anything but add the video. Okay. So that's it. 15 to 16% from 5%. So you will see a 10% lift. I have not yet seen it. Granted, the sample size is about 20, 25 of how many we've done this with. You will see a 10% lift, okay? Just adding a founder video. So this is a template to an AI script. You basically drop it into ChatGPT with your website and it will rewrite the script for you. It's really fancy. It even calls out lighting options for you, but you can ignore those. Shoot it on your iPhone. Clip it up a little bit, add a couple little graphics. Should be really personable. Some of the ones we've seen perform the best, husband and wife sitting at a kitchen table, just talking. And it's just very simple. This is why we started the brand. This is how you can control your subscription. That's it. But you want to be educating while you collect. So copy in there is if something's too expensive, if that's your reason, you want to spend a moment, a sentence or two explaining why your product costs more maybe than the competitors, why it's a little bit different. And we always want to tie cancels back to onboarding. So I'm going to talk about this as an example here, but if we're finding that people are having an issue, so a really easy example is expensive, which I'll start with. But let's say people are saying it's too expensive. then you are missing out in your onboarding opportunities and maybe potentially even on the product page of explaining why your product costs more. Okay. So like Just Ingredients is here, premium protein powder. They do a great job of explaining that they're using just the best and highest quality of ingredients. That's why it costs what it does, right? So you should be looking at some of those options too. The other side of that is, why is somebody saying something's too expensive? Anybody have? It's not just always about your budget. It's because you don't see enough value in it. Like, why do I want this $50 a month subscription? It's too expensive. But the truth is, it's like, I don't think it's worth $50. So if your product, like Mixers had this issue. A lot of supplement brands, say Mars Men as a testosterone company, has this issue. How long is it till you see effects? If it's like if it's not something immediate, like I drink it and I feel like, like it's pre-workout. But if it's something I have to take every day for 3 months and it's going to change my life, but you're not setting the stage for how long it takes to do that and why it works that way, and here's the stories of other people that have gone through this for you, right? So with Mixers a couple years ago, they retooled their strategy around explaining this gap in time between effects and saw a 40% reduction in churn just by doing that. So that's part of how we tie this information back, okay? And then the other thing is just getting really, really specific. So here's some examples. You tie your cancellation reasons to specifics. So if it's too expensive, I'm going to be more aggressive on discounting. If it's too much product, I'm going to offer you a delay and discount option and get you to try to stick with it. If it's, I don't like the flavor, I'm going to offer you a swap. That stuff seems really simple and basic, but over time, we want to get more and more specific. So I like breaking out it's too expensive into I don't see the value, or I've had like a life change event in my monetary, horrible copy, but you know, I don't have that in my budget anymore. And then on the I don't have it in my budget anymore, that's where we express empathy. Hey, we've all been there, we've all had that, but we care so much about our product and your ability to have it. Here's 50% off to stay. Whereas I don't see the value, we're hammering home why it works the way it does. So anything we can do to split out reasons over time, we're just testing here and there. This is like a monthly check-in thing. Nothing you want to lose too much sleep over. Winbacks. This is one of the most murkiest areas because it takes a long time to get good win-back information. But one of the things is you can look at this timing can be tested. As you scale, this will become more and more important to you. When you only have a few thousand subscribers, I would not lose sleep over testing the timing over your win-back emails. I would really, just like your product page, worry about offer testing. And so, let's see. Oh, I thought I had a different thing. Oh, it's over here. So a really common trend the last year has been tying win-backs to cancellation reasons. So if somebody says they have too much product, the win-back sequence is about usage. If you didn't like the flavor, we're trying to introduce them to another flavor, right? But what we're seeing just in the last couple of months being much more effective is just testing win-back offers. So it doesn't matter the reason you canceled. Respire does this really, really well. That brand I showed you earlier on, they're actually, if you had sleep strips, because they do nose strips and a mouth tape, if you tried either one, they're trying to get you to come back on a bundle offer for both, 50% off to come back for both of them. So they're doing a really, really aggressive offer to get you come back. So if you've had somebody on protein powder, give them a stack to come back. Hey, we've got a protein powder, creatine, pre-workout bundle, 50% off if you resubscribe. Or just resubscribe, here's a gift. So thinking through, and that's actually a lot easier than segmenting by cancellation reason, which can be really tricky, is just test offers. And you want to make sure you're just engaging with them. They've tried the product. They're potentially really interested in coming back. Okay, so we're running down through all this. Acquisition. Again, this is the most important place. This is where I would be spending most of my time. This is where I spend most of my time. And this is where I'd make sure from a company perspective, your growth and acquisition teams are communicating. Hey, these types of offers, these types of subscribers are sticking around longer. We need to incentivize them more. Hey, we're seeing this win-back offer be kind of interesting. Could we test something like that on the acquisition side? Or opposite, hey, this campaign's doing really well to get subscribers. Would that work on a win-back campaign? Okay. Then onboarding. This is something we test periodically, but we just kind of make sure we have a good feedback loop going. We're learning from our customers. We're surveying them. Bestie Media has a post-purchase survey. We use them or No Commerce with our clients to get feedback. Why did you buy? what's the reason you're taking this supplement or this product? That's a really important touch point. Communications. Cancellation is one of the easiest things just to jump in and make some fixes, but that's something, again, that we just look at periodically, not every day, and then win backs. Okay, so if you're interested in this, there's a number of you in here. If you work with me or have worked with me, do you mind just raising your hand just a little bit? Okay, yeah, so quite a few of you guys in here. If you're interested in getting an audit or talking to us, again, we help with both strategy and work. We're actually in the weeds doing a lot of this work for brands, the brands that we work with. And then if you want this presentation, here's the QR code. We'll be sending this and all of the other presentations after this. And that is it. Thank you so much.